Hello and welcome to another replica reviews video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This isn't necessarily a replica in itself, but we thought you guys might just appreciate something a little bit different and a bit new compared to the other CO2 guns that we review. So let's have a look at the gun that we've got in front of you. This is the Beeman p17 2004 edition, often called the 2004E. This is a single stroke pneumatic pistol and fires .177 lead pellets at a claimed 410 feet per second. As you can see, being a budget gun, or what I would consider a budget gun, this comes in the plastic bubble wrap packaging, which, putting aside the fact it's a nightmare to get into, isn't great for people that are collectors. So if you're going to buy this gun, chances are you're going to need to spend another £10 or so just buying a pistol bag or a pistol case just to put it in. One thing I'll move on before we get this gun out of the container that's in at the moment is this gun came with no user manual at all. There was no safety guidelines or anything like that. We thought this was really unusual, but you know, can't really complain. For the price that we paid, you can't really expect much more. You can see where the manual should have been, but you know, it didn't come with one. So let's get the gun out of the container and place it there in front of you. Now, first thing I'm going to start with is the construction. As you can probably guess from looking at the gun here, it is all plastic. The outside is all made of polymer. It's putting that aside though, it's very strong, feels very robust, and it doesn't feel like it's going to break, twist, creak or anything like that for a long time. Although this is not necessarily a replica of any one gun, I think it is worth mentioning that the pistol grip here is virtually the same as the Wolfer P99. Now, as you can see, it shares many of the same features here. The profile is virtually the same, and it even has the same little dotted grip point going across the grip itself. And even if you look on the bottom here, it's almost got a fake line from where the magazine should sit. But being a pneumatic gun, this doesn't have a magazine. So let's talk about the features on this gun in particular. The only metal parts on the exterior are the trigger here, which is fully functional as you would hope and expect. The safety catch here, which is automatic safety, but is also metal. You can manually move it around as you wish. The hammer here at the back, this is also metal. Another thing worth mentioning here is the ejection port here is cut out. I don't think it's going to come out very well on the camera, but you can actually see the barrel on the inside, and you can pretty much see right the way through. So we'll flip the gun over. As you can see on this side, there isn't really much to talk about. You've only got safety warnings here etched into the gun, and again the cutout ejection port, or you know, mock ejection port. One thing that this gun does feature is rails along the top here, so you can feature or add on sighting optics if you want to, maybe a red dot scope, something like that. On the talk of scopes and sighting, this gun does have a fully adjustable rear sight. You can adjust it for elevation and windage, although the front blade is fully fixed. You can't adjust that in any way. So let's move on to how this gun functions. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the hammer here is metal, but it isn't actually a hammer. You pull this back like so, and as you could see there, the top of the slide opens up. Now, as I open this slide up, it's worth mentioning at this point that the safety will come on automatically just there, as you can see. Now, the insides of this gun are the only bits that are metal. As you can see, we've got all of the compression chamber here. You've got your seals here. To load the gun, you have to bring it to 160 degrees. So you need to bring it out like so. This is what it should look like at the position where it's fully cocked. Okay, so obviously you're going to have to bring it back to compress the air, but this is what it should look like angle wise when you're about to compress the gun. Now, I'd like to mention at this point, this gun is empty. I have checked it, so it's perfectly safe. To close it, you just need to bring it back like so and cock it down into position. Now, as you can see, and hopefully as you saw, the safety catch does come on automatically. To take it off, swip it forward with your thumb, point it in a safe direction. Now, I'd like to mention again, this gun is empty, and then fire off the action. As you can see, it's got quite a crisp sound to it. This is one of the few guns that I enjoy shooting. Some of the pros of this gun are that if you only want to go out into the garden, maybe fire off 1 or 2 shots, you don't have to worry about leaving a CO2 bulb in here, which, you know, as many of you know, if you leave them in the gun for too long, can damage the seals, can, you know, change all things like that, so you've got to keep on top of it. Whereas this, you could go out in the garden, see a can that you want to shoot in the kitchen, take it outside, shoot it, and then not have to worry about storing any gas in it or wasting off, you know, 100 or so rounds just for the sake of it. So this is quite a useful gun if you just want to have something that you can just go and plink with some mates, or if you're just bored and you want to fire off a couple of shots. While mentioning shooting, this gun is superb when it comes to shooting. The accuracy is brilliant. I do enjoy shooting it. It's got quite a crisp noise to it, as I just mentioned, which adds to the fun of it. One thing that is worth mentioning, when shooting this gun, there is no recoil at all. There is no blowback on this gun. I know this is probably a silly thing to say, but you'd be surprised how many questions we get about guns like the Sig Sauer 2022, about people asking whether it's blowback. This is not blowback. There's no recoil, and there's even no spring jolt, which I thought was really, really unusual. There is no jump in this at all. It stays perfectly stable throughout firing and keeps the pellet very, very, very accurately on the target. You can get quite good groupings on this. If you're shooting at cans, it's nearly impossible to miss. The only thing worth mentioning with this gun is that the seals on it are claimed to be fairly weak. I've seen a lot of reviews where people have had to, after 500 rounds or so, had to change the seals. If you're going to be buying a pistol but you don't want to spend extra money on it, it probably is worth saving up a little bit longer and going for the higher end pistols. However, if you just want something fun that you can blink with for a while and then maybe later on down the line have to change things on it, this is definitely worth buying. You can buy this for about £50 upwards. You just got to do your research right. And this gun is supplied by SMK. So if you've got any stockists from SMK, or if you know anybody that stocks SMK products, they can get this gun in for you, usually within about 2 to 3 days, which is quite a good feature, because if they don't have it in stock, you can still own this pistol. Some of the cons on it, I don't like the fact that it's all plastic. I mean, you know, it is strong plastic. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to twist. It's not going to break. But, you know, for me, as a collector, that wasn't brilliant. The packaging as well, that was a bit of a downer, because as a collector, I don't want to have to go out and fork out another £10 on a case. And, you know, I want it to stay in its original packaging. But that isn't an issue. For anybody that wants to buy a gun just for target shooting but doesn't want to fork out nearly 130 quid on the model above it, this is a perfect gun to buy. As you can see, it's got loads of cool features and it's quite an attractive looking gun. As I said earlier, sight's fully adjustable, there's no recoil, and it's perfectly accurate. So it's a great target pistol for people starting out or just want to venture into the world of pneumatic guns. So this is the Beeman p17 review finished now. It's worth mentioning at this point that we have a new website out and running. So if you follow the link off our channel, check that out. Some feedback's always welcome. Again, feel free to comment, subscribe, you know, ask questions, things like that. And all that's left to say is thank you for watching another Replica Reviews video.